Well, we're at the halfway point of this marathon, but also another thing to keep in mind, guys, I've got a convention coming up, and obviously editing the next part and this is not going to be easy. But hopefully I can get through it. I have determination that I will finish this before August ends, which is part 8. It's just, without any further delay, you know the drill. Multi-parter, take a look at the previous part at the end of the video, and just, the rest of the drill. Moving on.
Number 25.
Reservoir Dogs. From the mastermind behind Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill and Django Unchained and Inglourious Basterds and The Hateful Eight, we have the first Tarantino film that basically launched his whole career. And a good movie to start off with. A group of gang members are pulling off a heist and it all goes wrong and they're trying to figure out what the hell happened, what went wrong, who's the one to blame for all of this mess. And throughout all of this, we get the trademark style of Tarantino's movies. But also, admittedly, the twist in the end, which I'm not sure if I should give this away or not, because so much happens in this film, with not only showing the backstories of these characters and just their quirkiness in certain situations, but are also represented by a certain gang name, consisting of colors, of course. You got Mr. Brown, Mr. White, Mr. Purple, Mr. Green, Mr. Pink, and yes, there is a character whose name is Mr. Pink. Highlights of the movie could go anywhere. Basically from frame one of the movie, before the opening credits, that sets up the style of Tarantino and the humor of it, this would be one big roller coaster career, and the one that will definitely launch Quentin Tarantino into the spotlight and shine that also lovely light on his role in the making of movies. Whether it be the westerns, martial arts, a style of a story within a story, or even a tale about gangsters, pretty much Reservoir Dogs will stand out as probably the best Tarantino movie there is. Unless you want to count some of the other films that are also widely popular, i.e. Pulp Fiction. The writing is witty, the music selection is pretty good, the actors are a good choice, and a distinct style that would make Tarantino probably one of the best directors to ever come in recent times, circa 90s. But perfect blend of 90s that makes Tarantino very worthwhile.
Number 24.
The Birdcage. Hey, I had to at least put something on this list that at least came out around the time I was born. And why not? Birdcage is a perfect example. And the story of it is based off of a French film that I don't think many people know about, mostly because they've been exposed to the Robin Williams movie here, so really, I've never seen the French film, so I have no clue what that's like, so I'm only going to be looking at this movie really comparing only to itself. Robin Williams plays the head of this popular gay club called the Birdcage, and one of his major partners, played by Nathan Lane, is sort of caught in this bundled situation where their son is going to get married to the daughter of the, you could say, antagonist played by Gene Hackman. And basically, Nathan and Robin have to try and teach themselves how to be husband and wife. Try to disguise themselves, if you will, in order for their son to be married to soon-to-be future-in-law. Birdcage has that distinct humor and that distinct style that it's hard to describe on paper. Let's just say the Birdcage is humorous, has a good setup, really pays off in the end, and you can never forget the great style of Robin Williams. Rest in peace. Comedically wise, this is one of my favorite films. Dramatically wise, I would have put on this list Dead Poets Society. Who knows, maybe that could be lower on the list. Maybe it could be in the honorable mention movie Fridays. I don't know. You'll have to find out. Because this is a multi-parter series and we're probably going to be here for a while. But comedic wise for Birdcage, I absolutely find this movie humorous, and even if I show this to a bunch of people who are gay, I'm pretty sure that they'll enjoy the movie either way. It's humorous, it's Robin Williams. What more do you need else about this film? Other than the fact that it's comedic and funny at times.
Number 23.
Peter Pan. Now, I have talked about this movie before on Movie Fridays, and I'm not sure if there's really much I can add to this equation, but I might as well give you a quick rundown just for the sake of this list here. Wendy tells fairy tales to her brothers John and Michael. While at school, as she's daydreaming and draws a photo of Peter Pan in her book, basically she is reprimanded by her father. She's no longer allowed to tell fairy tales to John and Michael and has to grow up and be an adult and not be so indulged in childish fantasy dreams like every single grown-up likes to say. But luck would come their way as Peter Pan and Tinkerbell fly into the movie. From there they will have adventures and fun that will challenge them along the way while they try to ward off the evil Captain Hook. Why I put this here is because, as I've stated before, this is one Peter Pan adaptation that is not really talked about as much as all the other Peter Pan iterations, especially with Hook and the Disney film. It's a shame because this is a really, really good adaptation and one that's really the closest to the original story. A shame that no matter where I look on the internet, at least from what I've seen, there's not a lot of people that talk about it. I don't know, I think a reason that it could be is because I think it was overshadowed by another big, successful film. You probably may have heard of this one before. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, the one that won multiple Oscars, including Best Picture. Yeah, all of you have heard of that one. But it's true, this iteration of Peter Pan was overshadowed by the epic fantasy of Return of the King. And it's just from there that I felt it just went into obscurity, waiting for that click of the internet, just that perfect moment it'll return to TV or premium channels like HBO, where people will watch it and then spread the word as being one of the most underrated iterations of Peter Pan that has come out. What this movie has to offer is not only a perfect cast, but also a very beautiful, practical, setting of Neverland. It looks It looks so amazing. You could maybe pause frame it and just look at all the magnificent detail of Neverland, hell, even England, for as drab and dark as it is. It looks very, very beautiful and well put together. I don't know, I'm just making up excuses just to have you guys go see this movie. But it's this iteration that Peter Pan that makes it stand out from the others. While Hook feels like a big origin story to Peter Pan, and the Disney Peter Pan feels whimsical and charming despite the... yeah, that. I just want to try and find anyone that is looking for another iteration of Peter Pan to take a look at, or B, a perfect family film that has a distinct tone and a perfect atmosphere. That this movie is worth recommending to that fraction of people. This film should never go unnoticed. This is a very, in my opinion, a very underrated version of Peter Pan that not a lot of people talk about. If everyone else can talk about the Disney movie and Hook, why not this?
Number 22.
Taxi Driver. Ah, yes. One of my favorite films from one of my favorite directors, Martin Scorsese. This guy, I feel, is unstoppable when it comes to really awesome films. Whether they'd be serious, dramatic, suspense-filled movies, horror-based, or even for that matter, films based upon true events that are told in a very special style. That's pretty much the magic touch of Martin Scorsese for you. With Taxi Driver, Robert De Niro plays a taxi driver who suffers from a lot of insomnia and basically takes the job because he has trouble sleeping. And as the days and days go by and elections come up and he's trying to learn how to be social because he's not so used to it, and he does do the wrong things, like take a young female that he's talking to a porno, like all dates do. It's from there that his fantasy starts going out as being the tough superhero, where he meets a guy, buys some weapons, gets himself physically fit, and in one moment he's looking at one of the candidates, and next thing you know, he's thinking of the prostitute that he wants to save and everything, just to sort of make him feel like he's a superhero and everything, just to get all that fear and insomnia out of him. What makes it stand out is the atmosphere that the story is being told, the score done by Bernard Herrmann, which almost feels dark, but laid back and relaxed at some points. Casting's perfect, grim atmosphere. There is a lot of really good behind-the-scenes stuff that you gotta take a look at when you decide to watch this, but also a perfect case study for De Niro with a perfect score and an atmosphere for the grim tone that you're gonna send yourself into. Taxi Driver is probably one of my favorite movies from the 70s, but also one of my few favorite films from the great and powerful Martin Scorsese. Just take a look at it and you can see what really makes this movie tick.
Number 21.
Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Oh yeah! We're looking at something that I saw a lot of as a kid. Or at least the first half of the movie. Yeah, that's the truth. I only saw the first half of this movie when I was a kid, but when I got older and gained a more appreciation for movies, so sometime right around high school, was when I fully saw the movie all the way, and well worth it to see this movie as a kid. So the story takes place years and years after the events of the Terminator, which takes place in 1984. And the setting for this movie is supposed to take place when John Connor is 10 years old. His mother is in a mental institute, and it's only a matter of time until two Terminators, yep, two of them, are sent back in time. One to terminate him, of course, another one to protect him. Which one will get to him first? Which iteration of the Terminator is the good guy or the bad guy? And where does this whole plot lead? As a kid growing up, the futuristic style blew my mind. The sets and the models looked so amazing. They looked so real. Even the nightmare sequence, which I won't give away, the whole models of the city and the town being desolate and blown to smithereens, it looks so real. Like, this is what our future could look like. This is a barren wasteland. All of these dead skeletons and cars and everything turned to charcoal. Almost nothing is left behind. Now, everyone has mentioned this movie ever so much, and let's just say, in my opinion, that the atmosphere is perfect. The casting was perfect, even having Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton reprise their roles. Action scenes, perfect. Blood pumping, adrenaline fuel, it'll get out of you perfectly fine. And the design of the T-1000 and the use of the special effects thanks to the Industrial Light and Magic, so perfect. Absolutely love it. And James Cameron really hit the ballpark out with this film. This makes it probably onto everyone's favorite sequels, franchise, or honestly, favorite movies of all time. And especially if you see it, you know why. As a whole, Terminator 2 I hold as a brilliant atmospheric film with extreme detail and a well put together film that honestly, I don't need to say anything else. Terminator 2 just really fits it very well. I love it. It's brilliant, and hopefully this will be one that will be passed down for more generations to come. And there we go. 4 parts down, 4 more to go. I feel almost worn out just from editing all 4 of these parts. Though that could be attributed to the fact that I used to do these once-a-month videos a long time ago, like high school, back when I did my review show. That's how long it's been. But I hope you enjoyed this part of the marathon. If you had any thoughts or opinions on this film, leave your comments down below. Hopefully I'll see you guys in May for part 5. Or June it'd be part 5 or something like that, depends on the release. But hope you enjoyed this part. I look forward to the convention coming up. And if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, well, for the next 20 seconds, as soon as this wraps up, click around here if you want to see more. And as always, I'm the Ferb Guy, and I look forward to seeing you guys for part 5 of the top 40 favorite movies list. So, bye!